My name is Sigurður G. Gunnarsson and I'm a programmer on the development team.
David Gundry, did programming.
Andrew Robinson, I was the lead artist on the team.
I'm Robert Clark, I was a programmer on the team as well.
I got a chance to play EVR. It is excellent. You guys only had this for a few weeks. How were you able to make it in time for EVE FanFest?
Using Unity was a big part of it. I mean, we have a really good team of people. We all kind of know what we're doing. We're all really into this stuff. But then we used the Unity development tool, and that just really sped up the development process. But I mean, starting from kind of nothing to this progress in 7 weeks it's pretty insane.
I'd say for me it's a good example of people who just like what they do and have a passion for what they do, and that's what we all share. So we spent loads of hours and just had a lot of fun doing it.
How did this idea come from about just taking this Oculus Rift and come out with a dogfight, a shooter?
So basically myself and Siggy were sat down at lunch one day and we both heard about the Oculus Rift development kits, and we were both day one backers on the Kickstarter. You know, we were very excited about VR, and we got talking together, and it was a case of what could we do with the EVE IP that we could, you know, what kind of game could we make? So we got together with these guys here, and you know, we all started bouncing ideas around, and slowly it was a case of, you know, what have like EVE players wanted to do in a while, what fits with virtual reality, and we came up with the whole dogfighting scenario and just flying about, shooting ships, and you know, having a blast doing it.
With the introduction of Dust, EVE Online Corporation is now basically foot soldiers. They're mercenaries, but they're foot soldiers. Was this like basically a plan of introducing fighters into the EVE universe? Because you got capital ships, but you don't really see the actual fighters. Because typically in many sci-fi films, when you see a ship that large, there are fighters. Was this basically a path to that direction?
I think the fighters are ideal, firstly because they're one of the only actually manned ships in EVE, but it also gave us a great sense of scale. And that's one of the things with the Oculus Rift, is the perception of scale is so much enhanced that using such a tiny ship and having the huge carriers and having the Broken Tempest and the Cathedral there, that allowed us to really play with that scale. So like with the Broken Tempest as a fighter, you know, we can fly in through it, and it makes the dogfight so much more intense because you know, you just have these crazy drones and they're just, you know, around all the environment. Like it was a perfect fit for us once we found the ideas.
Are there any plans to expand upon this, or perhaps make it more available to the public, like either in alpha or beta?
We've not got any plans at the moment. We're almost certainly going to keep on working on it in our spare time after FanFest.
So like we do a lot of internal prototypes all the time at CCP. I mean, very, very rarely do we ever show something outside of the office, but this was something that we thought, you know, our players would really enjoy and, you know, really want to see and play about with. FanFest was around the corner, so we thought, why not, you know, just make sure it was all really polished, get it out to them, see what they think, put the ideas back into the game and see what we can come up with.
For me, it's really about people that come to FanFest and taking something home with them that really no one else can get right now. So like, they're coming to FanFest and they return from FanFest and they speak to their friends who never came and they said, hey, I got to play this awesome VR version of EVE. You totally should have come to FanFest this year. And everyone's going to go, oh, I wish I came to FanFest this year. I'm totally going to go next year. I hope they're going to pull something out. You know, that's, for right now, that was the goal, was just to make this event for the players. We've kept it super secret right up to now. So I mean, this is for the players.
Does that mean that you'll bring this back to EVE FanFest next year?
Who knows? Yeah. We'll see what happens after FanFest, and yeah. So
I guess we'll just also see what players think of it tomorrow. So yeah, we'll see.
And well, I know it's still very early. Why 3 versus 3?
So the actual demo that's going to be held for the players tomorrow, that's going to be 6v6. So just for the press today, we had 3v3. The reason why we're doing 6v6 is purely because of the number of the Oculus Rift dev kits that we've got.
Okay.
But I mean, more players makes it more fun. So.
And we also want to give as many players as possible the opportunity to experience the game. So that's also a reason.
Now, can you talk about some of the hurdles on developing this in such a short period of time?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the short period of time wasn't such a big deal for us. I mean, we all were really into what we were doing. The trickier parts were coming from developing games that are only played on a flat 2D screen to developing games that are played in 3D, there's a lot of little tricks that you often use in developing a game that you can't use when you're developing for the Oculus Rift, and it takes some kind of reprogramming of your own brain to kind of figure out ways to do this. For example, UI, you can't do the same UI tricks for the Oculus Rift as you would just do for a normal game on a 2D screen. So those were the kind of things that were the difficulties for us in development.
From the art point of view, from the art side, we had to take a lot of assets that were designed to be very, very small in EVE, and we're putting the people face to face with them. So we took the design of the fighters and we built it as high detailed as physically possible, so that when you look out the window you can see every aspect, every moving aspect, every little glimmer of bolts and things like that, like out the cockpit window and in the cockpit itself. It was actually fairly easy to do, in the sense that with the rapid prototyping of Unity, I was constantly able to see the artwork through the Oculus Rift, make changes, fine-tune the work so that the perspective was perfect. If you looked at your feet are your feet distance away, you look up, you see the end of your ship, it's really far away, and that's just it was a great way to develop for this.